Lesotho has just declared a national state of disaster, citing soaring unemployment and widespread job losses. This drastic measure comes as Lesotho grapples with the severe economic fallout from the recent tariffs and significant cuts in U.S. aid. The ripple effect of these global policy shifts is deeply impacting the daily lives of Basotho citizens, particularly in the vital textile industry. Joining us this morning to discuss this critical situation and what Lesotho's government plans to do about it, we have Lesotho's Minister for Communication, Nthati Moorosi. A very good morning to you, Minister. Thank you so much for making time for us this morning. I want to start off with this one. So yesterday would have been the lapse of that 90-day suspension of the 50% proposal for tariff increase by Donald Trump. From the South African perspective, our president received a letter that the tariffs will go up in August, on the 1st of August. Has Lesotho received any communication as yet if the tariffs will go up and by what percentage?
Currently, thank you, Aldrin. Thank you for taking me. Currently, Lesotho has not received any communication from the U.S. government regarding the tariffs. Because of what happened in South Africa, we are waiting. Maybe we will also get the letter. We don't know, but at the moment, there is no letter.
Yeah. Are you able, Minister, to share with us what the proposal was that Lesotho put before the Trump administration around the negotiations of a possible reduction in the 50%? Sorry, Minister, I hope that you are able to hear me. Minister Moorosi, are you able to hear me? I'm asking about whether Minister is
Please
able...
come again.
I'm asking whether Minister is able to share with us what Lesotho's proposal was to the Trump administration around the reduction of that 50% proposal tariff hike.
Remember, Aldrin, ours was not 50%, it was 30%. And yes, there has been some communication from our government to appeal to the US government to reduce the tariff to different figures that I don't have at the moment, but it was to take them down to less than 20% to 10%. There were different tariffs for different products that were proposed by the government of Lesotho, which unfortunately I do not have a copy of those exact figures.
Yeah, and albeit that we now know that Lesotho is already suffering the consequences of the proposal itself. The tariffs haven't kicked in as yet, but that proposal itself has triggered some U.S. suppliers or people that are clients that Lesotho is supplying in in the USA, cutting their orders. Speak to us about that.
Yes, it has affected particularly the textile industry. As you know, that Lesotho had the AGOA agreement with the U.S. government. We were supplying a lot of our goods, the textile industry goods, to the U.S. government. I mean, to the U.S. market, and the tariffs has scared most of the investors who were making clothes in Lesotho. Now there has been some cut of jobs, which unfortunately also I don't have the exact figures, but we've seen some of the textile industry firms closing down with the fear of the same issue of tariffs.
Mm-hmm. And the response then from the Lesotho government is to declare this national state of disaster. In terms of legislation in Lesotho, what does a national state of disaster entail?
The national state of disaster, I think I first of all have to clarify that it is no longer just on youth unemployment, it's on unemployment in general. Initially, as I don't know how much you know of the background to this declaration, is that young people sort of expressed the need for unemployment to be given enough attention and to be declared as a national disaster. And initially, the thinking was that it would be a national disaster around youth unemployment, but now the cabinet has now come to a conclusion to make it a disaster for the whole country, a national unemployment disaster. So that is where we are, and with it legally, it means that we've issued a gazette on Monday, and this gazette is going to help us now to suspend some laws, to waiver some fees here and there. For example, I'll just give you one example. Young people, or rather all small businesses now, they can go and register their businesses without paying anything, which was not the case before. The tender documents are going to specify that small businesses are going to be preferred with these percentages. So we are busy now working on the fund that is going to help small businesses. We are looking at how we can waiver some of the conditions that seem to be bottlenecks for youth unemployment and employment in general. So that's what is going to enable us to do.
Yeah. And can you confirm, Minister, that the current unemployment rate is around 30%?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So with the current unemployment rate being at around 30%, have you done any scenario planning around what this could then be, what the unemployment rate could increase to once these tariffs do kick in?
I want to tell you, Aldrin, that this is the time when we are actually doing a thorough planning. What we've only done now is to go into the different ministries to see where the opportunities are, to open up opportunities more, to create more opportunities for employment. But in terms of the full roadmap, that's what we are working on now. But some conditions have already been lifted to enable employment to trickle in, and we are also building the general action plan with different ministries. So that's where we are. We don't have a master plan as yet, but different ministries have numbers that they have declared in front of everyone that these are the numbers of new opportunities that we are going to create. And that's what we are building a master plan with, and the roadmap, and what's going to happen and what needs to happen. But I want to maybe emphasize that we actually want to see how we can maintain the textile industries as the government of Lesotho, even without the AGOA agreement, because it's important that we continue with that. We know that there are different countries are still lucrative markets. Even our neighbors here in South Africa, it is still a lucrative market that we are also looking into how we can produce for them. So we are looking into other avenues of employment other than just the AGOA agreement regarding the textile industry.
Do you fear at all, Minister, that this situation could become so dire that Lesotho would suffer a brain drain where your qualified, your talented people would want to leave the kingdom and find opportunities outside of the kingdom?
I think Lesotho has suffered the brain drain for the longest time. I think it's been happening for a very long time, especially most of them going to the neighboring countries in South Africa. So we do expect that might happen, but it would not be a new thing. What we know that has been happening is the unskilled labor in Lesotho. We have numbers of them crossing the border to look for greener pastures as domestic workers, as head boys, as construction workers, working in the farms, in Cape Town, and so on and so forth, and other textile industries, even in South Africa. So we've seen that the unskilled labor is crossing in big numbers, but the skilled labor, the brain drain that you're referring to, has been happening. We've been experiencing that over the years. It will not be anything new.
Yeah, and with that unskilled labor, of course, then brings about the conversation of illegal migration. South Africa has raised the alarm around that before, South Africans as well. And we know with Basotho also being found in the illegal mining that takes place in the country. How do you remedy that situation? Is it even possible to remedy that situation, considering once again that Lesotho is going through this dip that is also being further being exacerbated by the decisions that are being taken by the US administration?
I think the illegal crossing of the border of the unskilled labor, it's something that has been partially addressed by the BNC agreement to give them 90 days, to give the 90 days of visa to be in South Africa. I think that has improved the illegal crossing of the border tremendously. This is the feedback that we get from those same unskilled labor who used to go and work in South Africa, but would have to come to Lesotho every month end with the little salaries they were earning. So now with the 90 days, it has really increased. I think it's one of the strategies that have helped us to curb illegal crossing of the border, illegal migration. But when you talk about the illegal mining, that one is, I think it's a bigger issue that the two governments have to look into, because with the recent report that was shared, we discovered that actually the majority of illegal miners in South Africa is not only Basotho, it's actually other nationals around South Africa. So it's something that I think the two nations have to sit down and further deliberate on how to curb it.
Yeah. And finally, Minister, on that illegal migration, currently South Africa is also going through this wave where you have South Africans blocking foreign nationals from accessing healthcare, and specifically undocumented foreign nationals. The South African government has come out to say that this is unlawful. From the Basotho government, what's your take on this? And again, is there a way to remedy this?
I don't understand. Blocking them from accessing what?
Blocking them from accessing healthcare. So they're blocking them from going to hospitals, blocking them from going to clinics, because they say that the priority should be on South Africans and the healthcare system is being burdened by undocumented foreign nationals.
Oh, okay. No, I understand. I think this is something that the South African government has to pronounce itself clearly on, because though Basotho in big numbers would go to South Africa to access medical health care, all of that was paid for. It's not for free. It was paid for. The government of Lesotho used to pay for its patients, where it was for referrals like that. And individuals also go there to pay. So I think it's something that the government will have to clarify, so that we also, as the government in Lesotho, know how to act and what to do. It is still not clear how the government of South Africa is going to do it, but it has been discussed in different forums that South African government is getting ready to now shape its healthcare system in such a way that foreign countries might not be able to access the healthcare in South Africa easily. But I think we will wait for clarity on that, and then we will act accordingly.
Yeah, did that dispensation stop, the one where the Lesotho government would be paying for Basotho who are accessing healthcare in South Africa?
I wouldn't know. I haven't heard anything about it stopping, because I would know. I think I would know. I haven't heard anything about it stopping. So I suppose it is still continuing, that we still have patients who cross the border every week to go for checkups in South Africa, in Bloemfontein, in Ladybrand, and so on and so forth.
All right. Thank you so much for your time. Nthati Moorosi is the Lesotho Minister for Communications, and this is on the National State of Disaster.